So this is just a little video about connecting with trees. So this is something I do on a regular basis, and I find that each tree has a different energy. So at the moment I'm standing next to a beautiful beech tree. She's really tall, she's really big, and she for me has a very feminine energy to her. And when we connect with trees, we can do it in so many different ways, but one of the best things to do is just to spend time with them. So to sit perhaps with your back to them or touching them, and to spend a moment perhaps emptying your thoughts, so letting go of all the busy stuff that's going on in your mind, just allowing yourself to be. And when we do this, we can really feel into the energy of the trees. So I find that a beech tree gives me great clarity. So if I've got a problem or something that I'm mulling over, a beech tree is a great tree to go and hang out with, because they have this wonderful ability to just kind of bring that insight into my mind. So if I'm pondering something, I'll suddenly get, I'll get a flash of inspiration. I'm like, oh, there we go. That's what I need to do. So that's quite an important thing to have access to, really. And when we talk to trees in this way, what we're doing is we're connecting into the collective consciousness. So trees are, in my opinion, conscious beings, and they are really connected in with the collective consciousness, so the wisdom of the universe. And actually when we sit and spend time with them, then we can really get some clarity and some insight. So I'm going to go and walk over now to an oak tree down in the forest, in the woods, just near Derwentwater. And so coming up to an oak tree now, and a lot of the oak trees around here are covered in moss. They're really beautiful. And when we hang out with a tree, it's always a good idea and polite to say, is it okay if we connect with you? So you can say that in your head. Is it okay if I connect with this tree? And I'm getting a feeling of yes. I'm getting the feeling that this tree has a more masculine energy than the beech tree. And oak trees quite often have a real strength about them. They have a feeling of stability, and if I need a bit of comfort or reassurance, I quite often go and find an oak tree to sit by. Just resting your back against a big strong oak tree can be really strengthening, nourishing, giving you insight, but also, I suppose, a bit of protection in a way, a bit of comfort. And I know that I've done a lot of healing, personal healing, by spending time with an oak tree. So I'm going to move on now, because this is a beautiful area of the forest and there's quite a lot of different trees. Now, this tree is one of my favourite trees. She is grandmother holly, and I'll just show you behind. So she's really old, she's full of holes, she's hollow, and yet this holly tree has the best wisdom. She's wise. She's almost like a crone. She's like the crone, and always has a really great bit of insight and wisdom. And I find holly trees very cheerful. So if I sit by a holly tree, I know that I'm always going to be quite uplifted. I'm going to feel happy. They're very nurturing, but also have this, I don't know, like a really beautiful spiritual essence that just permeates through your body and brings you reassurance and a bit of joy as well. So it can be really lovely. And whilst all this might sound a little crazy to you, if this is kind of new to you, I would just say go with it, give it a try. What have you got to lose? Spending time in nature in itself is obviously an amazing and beautiful thing, which can bring so much to our lives in many different ways. But actually spending time with trees and spending time with different tree species as well can be really interesting. And I invite you to have a little go. So if you're in a woodland somewhere and there are lots of different tree species, go and spend a bit of time with each of them. Maybe just spend 5 or 10 minutes sitting with each of the trees and notice what happens. Notice what comes into your mind. Notice how you feel in your body, how you feel emotionally, and then journal about it. I always recommend journaling because it helps to clarify things that you learn, the messages that you get, and also means you don't forget them. You can go back to it. You can see how far you've come, you know, in terms of what you know and learn and understand from your spiritual connection, shall we say. So we'd love to hear how you get on talking to trees.